Iran state TV released a disturbing propaganda video showing the U.S. Capitol being blown up by a missile and Iranian soldiers liberating Jerusalem. All right, this comes as our ally, Israel's government, faces a crisis of leadership. Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu has failed to create a new coalition and looks like he's going to be forced to step down. A vacuum there could be troublesome, many say. Joining us to discuss, former Trump State Department advisor Christian Whiton. Christian, no question, Benjamin Netanyahu has been our friend and vice versa under the Trump administration. What happens now? How do you see this playing out?
Well, it's always a little difficult to project Israeli politics. If you think our politics are boisterous, Israeli politics, a couple of degrees more. There have been a number of inconclusive elections in Israel. Nonetheless, Netanyahu and his Likud party had a pretty big number of the votes, a minority, but a plurality. And he had, I believe, a 30-day period in which to try and form a government that failed. And so now one of the other political factors will have a chance to do that. So it's unclear if this actually represents a true shift in power in Israel. But you're right. Netanyahu has been very strong against Iran, during the Trump administration and before it, during the Obama administration, when Obama and Biden went weak on Iran. He was a voice of clarity. And you'll recall he came to the United Nations every year and was just very clear about Iran's nuclear power. So, unfortunately, this is just another symbol, the chief one of which is U.S. negotiations with Iran that are going on right now in Vienna over a nuclear deal. Another sign that the world is sort of going weak on Tehran.
In that respect, what do you think is going on? Because we had this past weekend where there was an initial report that came out of Iran that said that the U.S. was going to unfreeze billions of dollars in aid in exchange for these hostages. There was also a report that came out about those meetings in Vienna that a decision had been made or reached when it came to lifting economic sanctions on Iran. Both of those reports discounted by the U.S. after the fact. And now we have Iran releasing this video. What are they up to if at the same time they're trying to renegotiate the Iran nuclear deal?
Right. I think two things are going on, Heather. First of all, the video just and also, frankly, aggressive naval activity in the Persian Gulf show that they really think that by being aggressive, they can actually soften us up. Their strategy is not to sort of be the good schoolboy and therefore get a better deal and try and ingratiate themselves. Quite the opposite. They have been sort of taught, frankly, before by the Obama-Biden administration, now in this administration, that acting out actually improves their chances of a deal. And then the second thing, as to those reports that they were going to give a lot of money away in exchange for hostages, and that would be sort of a get around a promise that the White House made not to go soft on sanctions before Iran even rejoined the Iranian nuclear deal. The White House walked that back or denied it, but sources I spoke with on Capitol Hill are frankly suspicious that is the very thing that's going to happen, that there's going to be some sanctions relief, even frankly sanctions that are unrelated to the nuclear program, sanctions that are enacted on Tehran because they are a terrorist exporting nation. There's just a lot of concern on Capitol Hill that the administration is going to give those away.
Wanted to get your reaction, Senator Pat Toomey, who spoke about the growing tensions with Iran, saying on Twitter this: last week, Iran's chief diplomat allegedly admitted calls the IRGC calls the shots in Tehran. Now Iran releases a fake video of the IRGC blowing up our capital. The Biden administration priority should be ensuring Iran cannot carry out such an attack, not capitulating by removing sanctions. Your response?
Well, and, that was a rare and unexpected sort of moment of candor from the Iranian foreign minister. He was being taped in an interview that he thought would remain in the state archives, held secret for many, many years. So basically showing that the most radical factions in Tehran are in charge of the government. These are the people in charge of exporting the Islamic revolution. And, frequently you'll hear experts in Washington talk about moderates in Iran that we need to empower by embracing through negotiations. But frankly, this is a reminder that this is is an unreformed jihadist regime. And, with the nuclear deal that was created in 2015 that the administration wants to rejoin, that doesn't eliminate Iran's nuclear program. It sanctifies it. The last one left in place the centrifuges they're currently using to enrich uranium up to a 60% level. So, not a great forecast ahead.
All right, Christian, thank you very much. Christian
Thank you,
Whiton.
Bob.